Hello and welcome back to Tabletop Dub Shot, a live-action D&D game with all baristas. I am Renee, your dungeon master, and with me is Bela,
who plays Val,
PE,
Good.
and Jordan.
And I'm Pierce.
Last we left off, Buka's identity was finally revealed to everybody, and he was reunited with his friends after 5 years. Helena has currently placed everyone under quote-unquote house arrest, and no one is allowed to leave the castle. Using this time, they finally got to catch up a little and spend some time eating and drinking, and finally making their way back to Pierce's childhood home. Once evening had arrived, after much waiting, a paper crane arrived from their friend Weaver, informing them that she would be waiting for them by the fountain. And that is where we are now. You guys open the door once the sun has set. So at this point, it's probably around 7 in the afternoon, 7 at night. The sun has fully set. As you guys step into the hallway, you look down and you notice this paper origami dog that is just doing the most generic. And as soon as you guys enter its little area, it turns around and just using its little paper feet starts to walk down the hall. As you guys follow it, everyone go ahead and give me a perception check.
Perception.
I got an 18.
Ooh, I think I have a +0 to perception. That is right.
Himbo!
I have a 17.
17 is good. As you guys are walking, the last few hours after the fight, that honestly only happened probably like 7 or 8 hours ago. As you guys are starting to walk down the hallway, you guys are in the second tier of this castle. So it is a little bit of a walk, but the direction that this paper dog is taking you, no longer barking, you notice that there are no guards, at least specifically these like hallways that you're walking in. As you guys start to look around, because with the way that's set up, you can kind of notice like other parts of like the courtyard in that center, like second tier, or like by the staircases. So you do see that guards are still around, but it seems that this specific pathway, as you guys are walking, there are no guards around.
Okay, dog.
You take a few minutes, you finally make your way down to the bottom tier of the castle. And as you guys finally make your way, fully just dark at this point, just the only thing kind of illuminating the courtyard is lanterns. But you guys hear the sound of the fountain, maybe about 40 feet ahead of you. What would you guys like to do?
I think Buka is reverting back to his current life instead of the awestruck feeling of being around his friends again, and is going to try to, since it is nighttime, I'm going to try to slink around a little bit in the shadows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Keep pace, but
yeah,
try to be comfortable with the darkness again.
Yeah, you kind of position yourself physically closer to the wall itself, because like the glow being cast out from like the lanterns and the torches is cast outward rather than towards the wall itself. And so you're just directly underneath the light of a lot of these light sources.
For Pierce, I'm assuming Buka's not necessarily actually actively trying to hide from us. Or just kind of like more or less just trying to like be in the darkness, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit for Buka. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for Pierce, we did have like after the fight, we had that moment of like just me kind of having respect for Buka just in that scenario for like fighting alongside each other. But Pierce also doesn't like that he pretended to be a King's Guard. So I do have kind of a focus or eye on Buka.
Yeah, kind of like keeping him in your peripheral.
Yeah, I kind of feel responsible for the fact that Helena put us all on house arrest, but I feel like leaning towards knowing that that was more directed at Buka, more or less than the rest of us.
As you guys are walking, though, you hear the sound of the fountain. It is just going like normal. You, in the distance, hear the sound of guards still on patrol. But as this is happening, you guys go ahead and look around. Again, give me another set of perception or investigation checks.
I still don't want to
Nice.
perceive.
This really isn't my strength.
17 total.
A dirty 20.
Yo.
Dirty 20. And then for Pierce?
I may or may not have lost Buka.
Okay.
I rolled a 3.
A 3? No, I'll say with that roll, your focus is less on the fountain itself, and it's been more focused on that. So it's like, if anything, it's the opposite. It's your focus isn't on everything else that's going on around you. For my 17, dirty 20 group, you look around. You've been told the dog's continuing to walk towards the fountain, and it Well, it waits at the edge because there's like a small, not quite like a splash zone, but towards like the edge of where the fountain is, and then it stands there for a second or two, and then just disanimates, and it's still in its little origami dog shape, but it just gives off one final, and then just falls to the ground. You guys look around and you don't see anybody.
I run after the dog. No!
As you run, you fully just feel like you impact something 2 feet away from the fountain itself, and all you hear is like a oh, and then suddenly the invisibility drops, and you see Weaver there. It's kind of hard to see her like in the full dark, the torchlight and the lanterns casting just a little enough light so that you guys can see. She has this like navy blue cloak on with a hood, but you all know her well enough that you can immediately tell who it is. Her face is semi-cast in shadow. Her curls are peeking out a little bit. Buka, she's standing easily a foot shorter than you as you like ran into her, and like the only thing that prevented her from not falling down was landing against the fountain behind her. Oh, okay. Hi. Who are you?
Does Weaver look the same as
Yeah.
she has before? Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell like she's like a little bit like older.
Yeah.
Kind of left that like teenage look behind.
Perfect.
And so just seems a little bit older, but yeah.
Cool. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Was that your dog?
Yes. And then as she glances behind everybody, Pierce, Val, is this a friend of yours?
You mean a friend of yours too?
Looks up. Buka?
Squat down to the height that I was last time she saw me.
You have to squat so low for that.
My ass is to grass right now. I
Buka.
go, and I kind of put my arms up as in like it's a me.
She, as you do that, she full just like hugs you, almost like just knocking you on the ground as she like collapses on top of you. When did you get Buka? When did you get here? When you're so tall? What?
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of been here the whole time. You look great. I was at the coronation. Congratulations.
You mean you snuck into the coronation?
I wave my hand as to say shh to the peanut gallery.
As all of this happens and she realizes that there's an audience now, she helps you back up. She stands up, and then you kind of notice this almost like a change in her demeanor of like still very nice, but very regal and very polite in nature, and just says, "Thank you all for being here. I didn't expect Book. I knew Val and Pierce. I knew that you were both here, but this is a wonderful surprise. Thank you all for what you did today. It didn't go the way that I thought it would go."
I think Pierce at this point like was giving the moment to be a moment, and he like steps up and just says, I don't think any of us expected it to be what it was, but I'm glad Val and I were there to do our part.
I think Val gives Weaver a look and is like, you can drop the Queen act. It's just us.
She sees the glance, but you see no change in her demeanor. But as you say that, just says, no, I think things would have gone very differently if it wasn't for the help and the assistance of the three of you.
Yeah, can I like hit Buko on the back? Like, yeah, Buko was there to help too, but like I want to accidentally hit him a little too hard.
Go ahead you can go ahead and roll to see if you can hit.
Take damage from this.
I think Buka is just kind of standing there scratching the back of his neck.
I don't think I will. It would have been a 12 to hit.
No.
Yeah.
So I'll say with a 12, it's enough to like cause a kind of a jolt, but not enough to cause any pain or anything like that. No, but as that happens, she looks around at the rest of you. The only thing holding is just, again, she has her cloak on. She has the staff that you guys had seen earlier with these like rotating gems that flow at the top of the actual staff itself. And she looks at everybody and just says, well, I was hoping that we probably could have met under some better circumstances. But I think with everything that's happened, this is probably the only private meeting that we would all have the opportunity to have.
Weaver, can I ask you something?
Of course.
Did you plan this meeting before what happened today?
I had planned on having it after the ceremony, probably sometime tonight, but everything's on high alert, so I was able to leave for a little bit. And then it cuts over to like Weaver's room. Like it cuts over to to Weaver's room, and there's like a minor illusion of Weaver like still in the room.
Nice.
Well, I knew that you both were back in the castle for today's ceremony. We had no clue where Buka has been for these last few years ever since he left, but
Wait, he left? Or
I think Buka's taking small steps backwards at this point, trying to be away from the topic of conversation. And
I'm gonna, after hitting him on the back, I've kept my hand there and I stop him. Not as like I don't want you to go anywhere, but like as a reminder that more of like a friendly keep him there. Like this, we figured out there was a misunderstanding earlier, and I think that goes for all of us.
yeah, you feel Pierce's grip on your shoulder as it just kind of like not like enough to obviously to like be threatening, but just enough of like a grip that like, hey, I'm here too.
Yeah.
not 100.
Yeah, I think Buka's gonna kind of look up at the sky and be like, "Yeah, this is a nice place as any to meet. I don't, I well, like, maybe you just why did you want to meet today?"
Hold on. No. Buka, did you leave or did you move out? Let's clarify this right now.
I just went with my mom.
Why?
It was days after you both had left. I had gone to go see Buka, and their home had been cleared out. I had asked about where him and his mother had left to, but it seems like you guys had left in a hurry.
She mentioned that we had to go find someplace else to live.
I had no knowledge as to why you had left or why your mom had left.
Yeah. And then at this point, it's like, you can tell that Buka kind of knows. You can roll perception or insight if you want, but it's pretty obvious that Buka's kind of embarrassed at this point to talk more about it.
I think she's like well versed enough in politics and reading people that she sees that just the conversation is making you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that as she looks at everybody, but like I had mentioned before, I had been planning on meeting with everybody for a while. I haven't exactly spoken to you guys in the last 5 years, but I know you've all been busy. Obviously, Pierce, you've been gone across the ocean. Valentina, I know you had obviously been doing your schooling. You had been literally in another nation, and then we couldn't find Buka, and so I just assumed everybody had gone about their life. But I wanted to make sure that one, you all received an invitation for today, and then kind of looks at Buka and just like, sorry, but I had missed you all, and so I knew that this was probably the perfect opportunity for us to meet back again. I didn't think it would be under these circumstances. Yeah.
Buka kind of looks up from looking at his feet. I'm glad I was able to make it to the coronation, and then looks away again.
Me too.
Snuck in.
And without looking, I just kind of put my hand up to wherever Val's face is and just put my finger across her mouth. Be like, shh.
When was the last time you washed your paws?
Yeah.
He never does.
You decide. You decide the last time Buka washed.
Yes. How long ago does it taste like?
How many months has it been? 18 months. Okay.
It smells like Fritos. Smells like Fritos.
But no, I think it was very fortuitous that we all got to be here together, even if it was under these circumstances. I fully don't even know the extent of what's happened. I know Helena's currently investigating everything, but honestly, I've been kept out of the loop. I was only able to sneak away, and I doubt my illusion will last forever, but I didn't want at least the day to go by without one thanking all of you, but also I just wanted to see my friends.
I think Buka's gonna wander over and sit down next to the fountain and put my hand in and kind of splash at collapsed Basile on the ground.
The paper?
The paper dog. Yeah. Be like, I can't. You guys remember the last time we played in this fountain?
You couldn't swim.
I can now, and I jump into the fountain. I stand proudly in the 2 feet of water.
You see that Weaver starts laughing. Yeah, it's very well done. No notes. You see that this whole time, Weaver is just kind of like standing there. Posture is like very proper, leaning a little bit against her staff. And it's just, you guys just notice like a small smile on her face. She looks at the rest of you and just says, well, I'm glad I got to see you all. I suspect I'll be a little busy moving forward.
I think we're all gonna try to be as involved as we can be.
I mean, maybe you, Pierce, but I mean, Val doesn't live here anymore. And I guess neither does Buka, but I mean, I'm sure you all have your lives to get back to.
You wanted to see us today? Just to say hi, see us, and then tell us you're busy and just gonna write us off forever?
She looks over at Val and just says, I mean, I'm not the one that left.
Oh? You think I wanted to leave?
Buka crouches on the edge of the fountain with my hands around my knees and just kind of gets ready to watch. If I had popcorn, this would be the perfect time.
I'm gonna sit next to Buka, but I'm not really paying attention. Like, I'm hearing what's being said, but like I'm not as interested in
the tea.
Yeah.
As you say though, like, did you think I wanted to leave? She looks at you and just says, the Valentina that I knew, no one could ever tell her what to do.
I push I push Pierce's shoulder like, oh my god.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Just like
I didn't have a choice, and it was my only way to get some sort of freedom. They basically kidnapped me and forced me to go. What was I supposed to do?
Come back.
I tried writing to you.
Everyone go ahead and roll insight checks for me.
God.
Oh wow.
13.
13.
16.
it's my old character. I got a 4.
A 4. Love it. I love it.
Imbo.
I'll say in this entire interaction, Buka, you're the only one that kind of notices it. She's still kind of keeping the same demeanor. But as you say that I wrote to you, you notice like the smallest twitch of an eyebrow of confusion.
I grab Pierce's shirt a little bit and like, you didn't get their letters?
She turns to look at you. I don't know what letters you're talking about. None of my letters were received response, and so at some point I stopped writing.
Did you send mine?
5 years ago.
No,
sent
where?
To the academy.
I didn't get anything. I wrote to you telling you that I left and that I was sorry that I couldn't come back. And I stopped writing after I got no response after like a year.
Same.
I wrote, but I understood Val not getting my letters. I figured her parents had something to do with that, but it was a mix of surprise and understanding that I didn't get responses from you.
I have no clue what you guys are talking about, but I'm gonna find out. I'm so sorry, my friends.
Buka kind of is like feels a little left out because I didn't send any letters and I also didn't get any letters, but I also didn't expect any letters because I circle back around to I didn't get it. I didn't get any letters. I didn't send any letters, So yes.
If I would have known where you were, I would have sent you picture books.
Buka dies. Buka lets go of Pierce's shirt slowly and kind of fiddles with his thumbs. Did you write letters to everyone?
Yeah.
I did.
And if you could see Buka's cheeks are turning extremely red. I tried to write to you, but I didn't actually send any.
Why not?
Well, I'm only on the letter Q right now. So I'm really trying to practice my penmanship and writing words well.
Right, queen.
I have to the queen. Yeah, I made sure I could get to Q before today. But I kind of steamrolled myself all the way to LMNOP, and then I kind of lost lost the determination after that.
And like under his breath, Pierce, I think a little reverting back to almost opposite of Buka earlier, not in the moment, thinking about as children and making cracks at Buka. His first thought would have been, well, it's a good thing you can say queen, but queen who?
Oh,
Exactly.
Queen. We. Ever.
Ever.
Queen Ever.
Ever. Oh, we love Queen
Ear.
Ever.
The ear.
Queen Eve.
I'm incredibly embarrassed. I made assumptions about all of you, and I shouldn't have.
I think we all did. I'm gonna look at Val.
I choose not to perceive him looking at me.
I choose to fail my perception roll.
Is the
At
tension
this point,
palpable?
only because I knew Val was mad because she told me she was mad.
Do you think that you know that I was mad at Weaver too, or you just think I'm mad at you only?
I don't know. I probably no. There's no shot. I rolled a 4 insight earlier. I know nothing other than what is told to me.
What a himbo.
Emotions wise,
Himbo. Himbo.
Imbo of the.
I love it. Well, I honestly don't know how to continue, but I'm assuming nobody's leaving. Well, no one's leaving tonight, but I mean, you're all welcome guests, as always, here. I'll probably be a little busy and we have some rebuilding to do, but I'd love to catch up in a more looks around, not as secretive place.
I'd love that now that we all know that we're not upset with each other. Pierce.
Looks over at Pierce. Looks over at Val. I don't know what's going on, but what I do know,
Pierce is just confused.
I'm also, you see Weaver has all the very confused look. I'm confused, but nonetheless, I think we can move forward with, I think, better understanding of events that have transpired. But I mean, you all, after seeing you all, this morning with the fight that happened, you've all grown to be very capable people and warriors, and I might have a request to make. Tomorrow, I will be meeting with some of the lanterns, which I also believe in. Looks over at Pierce. I believe someone has an interview tomorrow.
Helena said that she would get back to me on whether that's tomorrow or not.
It'll be tomorrow.
Okay, Queen.
Buka pushes Pierce. No way.
Pierce, you see it coming from like a mile away, and you just kind of step to the side, left foot sticking out a little bit, and Buka just fully boom trips into the fountain. A huge splash as all of this happens. Weaver looks at you guys and just says, I guess some things never change.
No.
What do you mean?
I shake off like a dog, but I'm a
She-
cat.
Yes, let's meet after your interview tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think there's some things that I need to check in with Helena about, but let's meet at we have meetings. Let's meet at noon tomorrow.
When's
That
your
should be-
interview?
It'll be at 10. That should give you enough time to present your case to the lanterns, but very well. I'm very pleased with how today went. I'm very happy that we got to meet. Don't get in trouble. And I will see you all tomorrow. And you see, as she says that, she is going to end casting. She's going to cast Prestidigitation, and all the lanterns nearby turn off. And then they turn back on like a second later. And she's just fully gone.
Buka hides behind the tall part of the fountain. I'm still in the fountain, just behind the tall part. I would like to pull him into the fountain from stealth.
Go ahead and roll an acrobatics check and go ahead and do it with advantage.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll just a flat acrobat or athletics check.
Okay. I rolled another natural 1 for my first one.
Oh, you get an advantage. Okay,
Yeah.
roll again.
I got a 23.
I rolled a 30-20. So
Oh.
As you go, fully, you're like, where the hell did he go? And you just feel paw to mouth, paw to chest, gets pulled back into the fountain, which, by the way, is not a very deep fountain at
So do
all.
Do I
Buka
fall
pull-
on Buka?
I pull you in, and I'm underneath you, so I don't even know if you get wet. Oh no, you do. I'm extremely skinny.
Yeah.
Extremely skinny.
It's just your
Yeah.
back. You're like,
What? How did
I
you
wish
get in
I
the
had.
fountain?
I know because I
go hee 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 hee.
smelt his hand.
Smelled like Fritos, right?
you start to feel lightheaded as soon as the paw comes in. But is there anything else you guys would like to do for the rest of the night?
But I mean, it's pretty late at this point, right?
That's probably like 8, probably like 9.
I feel like in non-combat situations, it's gonna sound super Pierce. Non-combat situations, Pierce
Are
is
boring.
an early bird or an early
Sleeper?
bedtimer. I don't in real life, so I don't actually know what it's called when you go to bed early. I think I'll climb out of the water, having squished Buka. I just look back at him and shake my head. I'm like just as annoyed as I was having fun. So like neutral in my face, which is pretty
in
much all the time
classic-
anyways.
In classic Pierce fashion, nothing has changed.
Nothing.
No thoughts behind the eyes.
I try to use the excuse of I think we should go back to the house. I'd like to see my mom before she goes to bed.
You guys make your way back, and you see that as you guys walk in, a lot of couches have been pushed to the side, and you see that like 2 beds have been made on the ground, and it's like so many blankets that it's just a thick mattress almost at this point.
Is she around or is she already sleeping?
She's in the kitchen. As you guys walk in, you see that she's just putting some last minute things away in pantries. Pierce,
Hey mom.
everything okay? As she like walks out, she's like drying her hands on a rag. Everything okay?
Yeah. We went on a walk, just caught up with each other. Kind of our first time really getting to see each other and realized that our letters weren't making it through, so a lot to catch up on.
I love that. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to catch up, maybe clear up some things. Do you guys need anything? I'm gonna go hit the hay.
No, Mom, we need you to have a good night of rest. Thank you so much for setting up our beds. It looks so cozy.
Yes, of course. Well, listen, if you guys need anything, please don't hesitate. If there's anything in the kitchen, by all means. But I am going to get some sleep. So everybody have a lovely night. And as she's walking, she gives everybody like a kiss on the top of their heads, and then she goes off into her room.
Buka is already wrapped up like an ice cream cone.
I think Pierce is in a moment of he was gonna say something, but Val responded first. But then Mom answered his question, so he just heads to the kitchen to get something to eat.
Love it. Buka is down for the night. What's Val doing? You do have a bed available here.
I do. Yeah, let's stay here. I still haven't checked in on my parents.
You have not checked in on your parents.
They're fine. Yeah, I'll just sleep here. I haven't, like the old days, a little sleepover. Love it.
As I head towards the kitchen, I probably have to like pass over the beds, right? They're on the floor. I'm gonna get to the other side and notice Val looking at the bed, and I can tell she's like making a decision whether or not to stay.
Yeah.
And before I get anything to eat, I'll just Val, honestly, totally up to you, but I'm more than willing to sleep down here if you'd like to use my bed.
Is Buka asleep already?
Buka's asleep standing up.
Do you think he's gonna sneak away? Would it be better if you like have a closer eye on him?
Yeah, I think I should probably sleep down here with him anyways, but I know you do have a home that you could go to. So you can take my bed upstairs to be a little bit more comfortable if you stay here tonight.
I mean, I won't pass up on not sleeping on the floor, but for the sake of keeping an eye on him, I trust you in this and apologize for being so mad at you earlier.
I mean, in your defense, I didn't know that you were necessarily that mad at me until you told me.
It's
But
okay. It's fine. I'm not gonna go into the extent of how mad
do-
and how
yeah,
long, and just accept the apology, and we're just gonna move past this.
I do appreciate that though. I think my only regret is we all seem to be disconnected, not at choice, kind of forced into it, and I'm a little confused as to all sides of that. I think with my letters not making it to you, I shrugged it off as your parents, which I still believe is probably the reason. And for Weaver, I think, I mean, it does make sense a little bit because she is the princess and now the queen. But I am
Wouldn't someone tell her that her childhood besties, best friends, were sending her letters? Who was stopping it?
that's what I'm more curious about of like who specifically was in charge of keeping our letters from getting to her. And then I don't know, it makes me think of if our letters were getting to her, then our letters to Buka would have gotten to her, and then maybe it would have pushed her to look more into where he went and why the family left. And but that's a lot of, we just don't know. Not really. I don't know about you, but not really at the top of my priority list right now.
Definitely same, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Did you want something to eat before you went to bed, or
No, you're the only one who's hungry right now.
okay?
Buka raises his hand from across the room. Did somebody say? Did somebody say snack?
Oh my god. How long have you been awake?
When somebody said snack,
Yep, Buka, there's some. I'm gonna eat something before I go to bed. If you want something.
yes, please.
The tiredness of the day, you guys all had your first real combat as far as like beyond like kind of like skirmishes and stuff like that. But today, and the night finally comes in officially, and the tiredness kicks in, and you guys all go to bed. The next morning comes in, and the sound of the keep as a whole coming alive again. You always already hear the sound of I guess the equivalent of what like construction would be, as you hear coming from like the upper tier of this castle. A lot of the stone is starting to be taken away, and reconstruction of the tower is already underway. It's already been a full day, and so kind of things back to normal. It's fairly early in the morning. It's probably like 7 o'clock in the morning as all of this is happening. And so I'll say that like the sound of construction just wakes everybody up as you guys hear workers shouting at each other as they're doing who knows what up there. But you do wake up, Pierce, and you find a small letter that has been slid underneath the door. Similar crest that you had seen before with a lantern's symbol in a wax seal on it. And then as you open it up, it is basically a summons for a meeting. You've already at least been told about it. So it's not coming in as a full shock of, hey, we're still meeting up in 3 hours. But in the meantime, you have a few hours to yourself. Pierce's mom has already started making breakfast for everybody.
Yeah, mom is making food, and then all of a sudden she turns around and Buka's sitting at the table with the blanket, but eyes are still closed.
I think I would have eaten breakfast and then changed, and then put that new letter in my pocket, assuming that I would need it to potentially enter the area of the tower that I needed to get to.
Yeah, and I will remind you guys also that Weaver did say that you guys were going to meet right after. So you guys are all more than welcome to join Pierce.
Pierce, do you have any shirts that you wouldn't mind me wearing?
I'm gonna look at my mom and hope that she is
And I hold up
the frustration that I have
Pierce.
because I don't know what to say at this point.
Mom, I
Pierce,
think
let
it
him-
would look good on him.
let
Like,
him
don't you
borrow
think he should
something.
dress to impress?
I said he could
Be
borrow
a good
something,
host. Be a good host.
but there's nice clothes upstairs that aren't
Those
my
are the
blues.
nicest clothes.
Pierce, get him something. Get him something nice.
Okay, I'll go get the nicest clothes that I have upstairs.
Look, dear, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I get close as fast as I physically can.
And he is fully dressed in
It looks good.
your second best military blues. You know that it's probably time to start heading over to the tower. So you guys start making your way over there. As you guys are walking down, again, it's only like a 5 or 6 minute walk, but you do start to see a lot of like construction supplies are being brought up. Some of it just like physically being carried by like carts, as well as you see that people tend to have different like kind of like masonry tools, as well as stuff being carried up magically as people are casting these levitate spells, as well as mage hands to carry all this different stuff. As you guys reach the third tier of the castle, you notice that all of this it basically looks like a full modern day construction zone. as they have like these like pulley systems that are carrying large stones towards like different parts of it, as they have already seemed to like done a lot of construction in the base of the tower itself and are now working on like the part of the tower where like the main impact originally happened. And so you see that some people are up there literally like using like fly spells as they are like, or they've had like fly spells cast on them as they're legitimately like pushing in and putting in some form of like cement onto like the stone to like kind of hold it in, as well as people that are like on like massive ladders and stuff. So there's construction happening everywhere, but you guys are able to walk past. And as you kind of reach this next tier, Pierce, you just have to show the letter that you received. And as soon as they see the seal of the lanterns, that you're just kind of like allowed in. So
My at this point, Val and Buka are still with me.
yes,
Yeah, I'm following right behind you.
you know your way to get to where the offices of the lanterns are. And as you walk up, there's again this young like half elf sees you, like small little goatee, sees you guys walk in and just says, Mr. Shadows, you're here for your interview, yes?
I am. Yes.
Perfect.
We are.
Wonderful. I don't know who any of you people are, but
I stand at
you are
attention.
more than welcome to wait alongside here, and kind of points to like these chairs and like the small like reception area. But Shadows, we will be having your interview in the meeting hall through those doors. This young receptionist stands up and starts taking you, Pierce, towards the door, opens the door, and you see that there is this long table with the rest of the lanterns already sitting there. And so you see that there are a total of like 8 chairs. It's more of like a rectangular table. And then at the head of the table is Helena. And then you see another 3 people on one side and then 1 on the other. Or sorry, yeah, 3 people on one side and then 1 on the other. As you see Helena still kind of like in her plate armor, doesn't have the gauntlets on, doesn't have like a full pauldron on, but just has the like the breastplate on, is sitting at the head of the table. To her right is this dragonborn man. He's a red dragonborn. To her left, like the other 3 seats, you see this elvish man. Next to him, you notice this dwarvish woman dressed in kind of like intricate clothing and has a very like well-groomed beard that has like a gold ring at the end. And then to her left is a tiefling woman, dark blue skin and ram's horns curled back behind her. But they're all dressed fairly similarly. Not quite in full armor, but the actual clothes themselves. You notice a lot of blues and grays, and you notice that they all have a ring on, and on the ring is the symbol of the lanterns. Helena looks up, and as you walk in, the receptionist kind of goes back to his seat. Pierce, please join us. Have a seat, and then gestures to the seat at the end of the table.
Were they standing when I walked in or no?
They were all sitting.
I think I'll just kind of get to my chair and thank you for having me, and then sit down.
As we get into that, you see that they all kind of like look at you. They have very polite smiles, and they start kind of asking all these very almost like generic interview questions. And that goes on. And then a lot of it does have to do with like your experiences in the military, some of like your upbringing with your dad, some of the things that you had been told growing up. And this goes on for about like 15 or 20 minutes. And then after that 15 or 20 minutes, Helena looks at you and just says, Pierce, I'm going to be very honest. We were very excited to interview you, but you would, if you got this position, you would probably be the youngest lantern we've had. Do you see any difficulties taking on this position at such a young age, and like with the responsibilities that you would bear?
I don't believe, and something my dad taught me very well was that age didn't really have any role in what I did or why I did it. It was all personal decisions and the experience that I've had that led me to make that decision. I personally don't believe I would be considering this position if I felt like I wasn't ready. Honored to have the opportunity and blessed to be in a position to be able to return home and be here. But I think my only, unknowing thoughts are I don't know a lot about the lanterns. My dad didn't talk about work much, and I'm looking forward to the learning experience that I will be put through being new to this position. But I've never shied away from anything because I felt like I was too young I'm leaning very heavily on the experience that I've had in the life that I've lived, and hoping that really carries me through the process that would be becoming a lantern.
At this point, the elvish man that's sitting next to Helena, he's at this point introduced himself as Austin, and so Austin at this point responds and just says, "You know, your father was a great addition to the Lanterns in his time here. He enacted a lot of change, and truly his time brought about a large season of peace where we've all been able to reap the fruits of that. But I think, if I'm being fully honest, one of my fears is you are a career military man, and your interview is part of it is you're renowned on the battlefield, but you would be possibly joining us in a season of peace. And I don't know if you know what that means, or if that's something that you would even want or seek as someone that has been in your position as long as they have."
I think I completely understand where you're coming from, for one. I think looking at the position through a slightly different lens, as far as I don't know if Helena had shared with you guys before that I had stopped by to check in about returning home, and we briefly were able to speak, and she spoke very much of the collaborative that the Lanterns are. And while I can make assumptions of the reasons why I'm being interviewed for this positions and the strengths that I bring, we are all here because of the weaknesses that we may have, to lean on each other and be the lanterns, as it were. And I think while that may be all I know, I didn't join the military to fight so that I could continue fighting. I think everyone's, or at least I hope everyone's goal in fighting and war is that the fighting and war comes to an end. And I think, as we all experienced yesterday, we don't know when that actually is.
They all kind of look at each other. Helena then speaks and just says, "Pierce, thank you so much for your time. With everything that's kind of happened, obviously you've seen the construction that's happening outside, but we kind of wanted to make sure that no one gets missed, and we had time for everybody, and we felt time was of the essence. But we appreciate you being here, and honestly, we have some more to confer. You were our last interview of the day. They started all fairly early, but you can expect an announcement made by the end of the day."
May I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
I think, speaking into the lanterns being collaborative, I am curious. I briefly was able to talk to Helena about this, but what, strengths, or maybe expertise is the better word, are you hoping to bring to this position? I know the position's been empty for a while, maybe not necessarily on purpose, but I am just kind of curious of what hole is trying to be filled and what hope there is for the position moving forward.
As you ask that, the red dragonborn starts to laugh, it has a very deep laugh. This is Paul's son, after all. No, Piers, that's a good question. I don't want to speak for the group here, but we're looking, I think, for someone that has had experience, I think, with the world outside of Numir. Sullivan's a big place, and as we continue our relationships with different nations and all the happenings that have been going on, and even though we're in the season of peace, we want to maintain the season of peace. And so I think best ways with relationships outside of our own little nation. And so we were, kind of looking for someone that has experience out in the world as well. Most of us being lanterns, most of our responsibilities keep us here in Alcor. And so seeking some kind of fresh blood in that regards. I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, it does. Like you said, maybe not answering for everyone, but it does sound similar to how Helena was feeling, and I'm assuming all of you probably have talked about this before. So
yeah, you see collective nods as you say that.
Well, again, I appreciate the opportunity, and just it was nice meeting all of you.
Of course. They all stand up and then they go and like shake your hand, and there's like claspings of you see like the dragonborn goes. His name is Gray. He is this red dragonborn, and he goes and like standing easily like 7 feet tall, just like a built dragonborn. He like clasps his clawed hand on your shoulder and just says, like, shakes and like, oh, it's so good to meet you. And then they all kind of like let you proceed out. But then you go to the doors close behind you, and then you are in the reception hall with your friends.
Oh, how'd it go?
I mean, I feel good about it, but I am young for the position, so being realistic but hopeful.
Did you tell them you act like an old man?
There's not necessarily a reason for me to tell them that, nor an opportunity.
You were
They
in there
said
for
you were young. Yeah, you were in there forever.
you're in there forever.
A couple of the lanterns mentioned that I reminded them of my dad multiple times, so
It's normal.
I think that's good.
Yeah. Your dad was cool.
Were we supposed to meet Weaver somewhere specific, or was she just saying that she was gonna call us to meet
They just said
somewhere specific?
noon.
She had said that she wanted to meet more formally and normally this time, so I'm assuming not the fountain, but I don't necessarily know where we should go.
I'm sure she'll tell us eventually. It's fine. She did last time. She has her ways.
Yeah, she'll find us. You guys want to go get something to eat?
We
Yeah.
just ate.
We ate at like 8:30.
Yeah.
We started eating at like 8. Are you saying you're not hungry?
I mean, we can let's just go.
Okay.
Brunch.
But brunch
Second
is the
breakfast.
meal in between second
Brunch.
breakfast. No, because you're still gonna eat lunch.
Brunch.
Yeah, but there's second breakfast, then brunch,
Yeah.
then lunch.
Wait, we skipped second breakfast?
No, this
No.
is second breakfast.
Oh, okay. Second
And then
breakfast
11
now.
Z's.
Then 11 T's.
Afternoon tea.
We have to hurry
is a
before if we want to get second breakfast in before 11 C's.
Yeah.
Very
We just
good.
have to start eating. So
Do
then we're
you
good.
guys head back to your childhood home, Pierce?
Yeah, I guess we should head back to my house then.
I mean, whose house is closer, my house or your house?
I don't.
I think Val's
question.
would be.
We could always go to mine. I mean, you haven't seen my parents in a while.
Feel like they did that up, but yeah, we can.
It's closer anyway, so we don't have to
Yeah.
walk as far.
Hey, food is food.
Yeah, they have people cooking all the time. It's fine.
Wow. Well, my mom's always cooking, so I feel that.
Okay.
Cool. You guys make your way to Val's residency, and it's you notice, like, even though it's in the same level of the keep, you notice huge differences as you walk. Where Pierce lives, it's very nice. Again, it's very like townhouse build. As you guys walk into Val's home or Val's childhood home, immediately looks so different. Like, this is easily like the size of 2 or 3 of your houses, Pierce. As you walk in, just like the actual, like, there's like an entrance to get into the house, and there's like a staircase directly ahead. But Val, you're able to take him to like the kitchen, which is to the left-hand side as you guys walk in, and you see there is like a server there that is, you see, like, cleaning, but could like prepare a meal.
Hi. Would it be possible to make my friends some whatever they want to eat right now? They're just very ravenous.
Yes, of course. What would you like? We have anything you can think of?
Buka starts foaming at the mouth because of they said that they had anything. I'll have one of everything.
Looks over at Val. Is your friends okay?
You said I can have anything. You said I can have anything. I would like one of everything.
You can have anything, not everything.
Yes.
I want one of anything.
Pierce, what would you like? And so they can make 2 or multiple.
He's
or
like,
just
one of anything is only a one thing. So,
But Buka, did you want one of everything or one of anything?
I'm just hungry. I don't know anymore.
Val, you're not gonna eat.
We just had.
We didn't just have.
Oh my! Whatever is the easiest and fastest to prepare would be great. 3.
This is good.
Make like 5 portions.
oh yes, of course. And then you see he goes and proceeds, and then opens up basically a fridge. It's like an ice box, and pulls out a whole chicken that it's been like plucked, but it's still uncooked and just giant. And you see immediately starts to like thaw it out. as they start preparing like all these like different vegetables, as well as like herbs and spices to go with it. When they get like a massive pot and start boiling water. And so the whole process takes a little bit. But during this time, before you guys start eating, Pierce, you get a sending spell, or you hear like a voice in your head. It's a sending spell, but you hear a voice. You hear Weaver's voice in your mind. Just go. Still meeting at noon. Hope your interview went well. Let's confer in the crown room. Send a message. But you can respond if you want to.
Oh. I'm limited to words, correct?
25 words.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a man of few words, so I don't think I'm going to go over that. So
He's saying all of this to himself, and that's already, 12 words?
I'm a man of few words.
Yeah. Okay.
Appreciate you reaching out. We're about to eat now, and we will head there afterwards.
Cool. And at this point in time, food starts coming out. So there's plates of literally like mashed potatoes and like just chicken, something super simple, but plates start going out, as well as just like glasses of like water and like juice and stuff. Is there anything else that you would be needing today?
Do you guys need anything else?
Question for the GM:
Yes.
Is there a fantasy world version of a mimosa?
Do you wanted a mimosa? Yeah, of course. And you see he starts, and it starts pouring. Anybody else?
I'll take.
With a piece of chicken already in his face, Buka
Yes,
raises.
of course. Goes into the pantry, and you notice this pantry goes for like 8 feet deep, and is just fully stocked with food. And then you see that he goes in, and that's when he gets like the bottle of champagne, and then just a little. They start pouring glasses, and then handing them out to you guys. If there's anything else you need, please don't hesitate to ask.
Before
Yes.
you go, have
Yeah.
you seen my parents?
Not since last night, after
Okay.
everything that happened. They
But you
looked
saw them after, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Your family's fine. They looked frazzled, obviously, with everything that had happened, but they went off to work this morning. But
Oh, okay. That's fine. They're alive. Thanks.
yes, of course. And then this human just goes back to cleaning, putting away all the plates and dishes that they just used to clean or to cook food for you guys. Very cool. You guys enjoy it. It's a very simple but a very, very good meal as you guys eat your second breakfast and your mimosas. And then at some point also like constantly just like pouring a little bit more champagne and some orange juice, some peach, bellinis for everybody as well as this is happening. So, but this goes on for a little bit and you guys finish your meal and you guys are able to start heading back.
Did Val have a mimosa?
I had a mimosa and shoved my portion of food in the middle of you guys.
Oh, but did have the mimosa. Cool. You guys drain your glasses and then you guys start heading back up and you still have the letter. So the seal itself allows you entrance in. And so this part, again, you're walking past a part of the tower as you're going further up. That is, or actually, no, because the crown room would be in the second tier because that's where like she would meet up with like, or like where the king or queen would meet up with people. So you guys do know where like the crown room is, typically where a lot of more formal meetings are had. So there's the great hall where all the meals are had. And this is one where an audience is to be had. And so you guys go in and you guys walk in as there are 2 guards that open the door for you guys, these massive, like heavy set wooden doors that go up probably about 12 feet. Doors are opened up and it's a fairly large room. There are tapestries and canopies along the wall, kind of showing different parts of Stormsong history as well as Numerian history. And as you guys walk up, you do see a very formal looking weaver, thick cloak, dark navy blue with a white fur lined part of it, as well as fur line along the edge. She has her staff that you guys had seen before, crown on her head, jewelry on her neck. And as she looks at you guys and just says, "My friends, welcome, please." And then you see that she waves at some of the guards and they literally bring out chairs because there's no chairs like besides the actual like throne. And there are guards nearby, but it's only you guys just awkwardly in the middle, close to the front, but like in the middle of this massive room as chairs are brought out. And they bring out like a 4th chair and she like sits alongside you guys. Sorry, this was the only place that seemed appropriate to me without raising too many questions, but looks over at Pierce. How did the interview go?
I mean, I feel really good about it, honestly.
Good. I know I submitted your name as a possible applicant. I figured, it wouldn't be something that would hurt to have someone in my corner, but the Lanterns do make their decision on who joins. I have like supervision, I guess, over the position, over the role, but it really does come down to them. They're kind of like their own internal system within the kingdom. So yeah.
I feel like Pierce would almost look relieved because after sending letters to everybody and not getting responses, he wasn't really sure what to think. But Pierce has been a big feels guy, so he didn't really think too much into them. But you could tell that the fact that Weaver wanted him to potentially get the position was important to him.
So never a guarantee, but I mean, typically, at least from what I've seen, it's if whoever the monarch is puts in a suggestion, it's not a for sure thing, but obviously they take that heavily into consideration. So yeah, I mean, we had 3 other applicants, I believe, but it was all people that are either known by some of the lanterns, but I know 2 of them aren't even from or don't no longer even live in Newmere. They're from Newmere originally, but have left at some point, and they were in town for the coronation. And so it's really just you're the only one that I guess you've been gone as well, but you're the only one that still has like family here in Newmere, so in Alcor. So I think that looks good as well. But enough about that. First things first, I've been looking into first of all, the letters situation. I've spoken with Helena and she had no clue of what was going on. So, I mean, I figured that she would know at least something, or maybe my parents had kept, you know, the letters away or something like that. But it seems that she was at a loss, I guess. But beyond that, I'm still going to be looking into it. So I haven't found any answers for that yet. But I did have a request, and it is a big ask. She like takes a deep breath. Helena's been investigating what happened, and so she's filled me in that there might be an organization that was involved with it, or some kind of third, or like a party that was sent to cause all the destruction and mayhem from yesterday. But being in this position, I can't exactly be gallivanting around Alcor and around Numir, but I was wondering, Helena says that she might have some more information on a possible lead here within the city. And so I think sending a group of guards and soldiers draws a lot of attention, and I think this is a situation where a little bit of discretion would probably be most helpful. And so I know it's a big ask. I know most of you just got into town not that long ago, but I don't know if it's something that you might possibly be interested in at least looking into.
Does this mean that I can, if I say yes, if we say yes, does this mean I can go home and make sure that they know that I was held here instead of no call, no showing for my shift?
Yes, of course. You can check in with your work and your family. I'm sure they have questions as to why you've been gone for the last 2 days.
Amazing. I'm in.
Okay.
Someone should supervise him so he comes back.
I look at Val and I'm like, I think we're all in. Like we said last night, we may not have necessarily planned on being a part of this, but we are as a part of it as we can be in our positions.
Long is this gonna take?
I don't suspect it to take very long. Helena believes that whatever place that they were using as any place that they might have been using as a possible like headquarters for the events, they're at this point they're probably gone and they've cleared out, or I'm assuming they've cleared out, but we've sent some scouts at least to kind of get general gist. Obviously, we've been interviewing and asking a lot of questions to people, especially people that were here at the coronation, and so there have been some people that have spoken up, and so there's been about 3 corroborating stories about in the south part of the city of a possible area where they were all meeting up to conduct the events of yesterday. So honestly, we only have so much information, and again, I can't exactly be out and about. And then Helena honestly draws a lot of attention to herself. As you guys think back to this like 6 foot tall, just like blonde, fully like armored woman. You're like, yeah, well. And so, but well, 2 out of the 3 of you also haven't been here, so you guys could be not as easily recognized by people.
Yeah, what I mean, you say kind of general area of where we might be headed. I'm gonna look at Buka. Buka, where are you living now? I know you're not in like the keep anymore, but
Yeah, I live above the bar.
What bar?
which bar?
The best bar in town. The Leaning Tree.
Everyone go ahead and give me insight checks.
I got a 9.
9,
I got a 5.
5. Buka.
Yeah. I live above the bar.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
Oh, me. Perfect.
All y'all.
I thought they were rolling against me. I was like, oh no. 17.
17. As you say the Leaning Tree, you see that Weaver's head like jolts to you. You work at the Leaning Tree.
Yeah, I'm the early morning shift. So I usually just get the really drunk people, and then the ones who are up super early and somehow just want a beer, and I look at Pierce.
Pierce doesn't intentionally look away, but he is already looking away, but also realizes that Buka's looking at him.
That's
Sounds like-
in South Alcor, correct?
Yep.
And this might make all of your jobs a little easier. We've been told that they've been using the Leaning Tree as a meeting ground.
No, they couldn't. There's no.
Buka, do you have any knowledge of who could possibly have done this?
I don't know who would want to try. Do we know what the purpose of this attack was? Did they want to hurt you? I don't know anybody there that wants to hurt you.
We believe so. Go ahead and roll an insight check or a history check, and I'll let you do it with advantage.
Perfect.
All of us or just Buka?
Just Buka.
Okay.
First one's a dirty 20. Oh, 22. Insight.
As you think about Hecken and the mission that you were thrown into,
Mm-hmm.
Hecken at the end of the day is kind of like a mob boss. I think it's like the
Yeah.
closest equivalent to it. But he's
Mhm.
he's like a bruiser. Like him and his all of people are like bruisers. Like an
He's small.
orchestrated
Yeah.
like political assassination doesn't really fit into
Yeah.
like the type of stuff. So like
Yeah.
even this news is like you already know there was like another conspiracy that kind of brought
Yeah.
you to the castle, but political assassination was
Yeah.
not. It's not something
Yeah.
that you've worked for him for like 5 years. So
Yeah. No, there's no. There, everybody at the Leaning Tree, I know everybody who's there after 2 a.m. They're the nicest. Everybody who works at the Leaning Tree, they hopefully covered my shift this morning. I'm certain that they didn't want to hurt, that nobody there wants to hurt you.
go ahead and roll either persuasion or deception.
Yeah.
And then you choose which one of those two it is. You don't have to tell me, but
Cool. 30-20.
Nice.
okay. Well, if anything, this might be a perfect chance to, I think, infiltrate, at least get more information. Again, I'm hoping they're gone at this point, but also I'm asking this simply as like a reconnaissance mission of just gathering information. Because
Mhm.
once we have more information, then we can just send a full force to go. But I think having Buka there as someone that worked there, I think might be the perfect way in.
Okay. Yeah.
This actually might be very fortuitous.
Okay. So I'm gonna go. I'm going undercover. I need a new. No. I am. No. I'm the same
No,
person.
we want you to go as you.
But I'm different, and they're okay.
Buka,
Yes.
I mean, I think knowing that you work there and you spent time there, is it most likely that if this is happening, it's happening not during your shift?
Oh, I mean, I also live there, so I don't. If there was, yeah, I work the morning shift. I would have heard about this,
They probably have used the cover of night to, and again, also we suspect that they've been meeting there. This is kind of like some of the stories we've been told, but you guys are there to corroborate those stories.
Okay. Well, I guess you never know until you know.
I know this is a big ask, if any of you feel fully uncomfortable with this or feel like you're not up to it, I would not take offense. I don't want you to feel like you have to say yes. This isn't Queen Weaver asking. This is your friend Weaver asking.
I don't feel like I have any reservations. I feel like in this situation, we're impeding on Buka's home, I guess, in a way. So, I mean, as long as he's okay with it, then I'm in.
Buka just stands there nodding. I think we can do it.
Okay, Val.
Up until you said it was your friend asking and not the queen, I was thinking about how long I didn't plan on being here and how quickly I wanted to go back. But friends first. Exceptions are made. I'm in.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Before you, I think, Buka, you said you work typically in the mornings, right?
Yeah.
Then maybe it might be best if you go back to work tomorrow morning like normal, and then perhaps, I mean, if Val and Pierce going as well, maybe they could go as patrons. Maybe you guys could do a little investigating.
I would love to be a bartender. You think you can get me a job?
Buka pauses. Yeah, I mean, or I can introduce you to my good friend who happens to know everything that goes on at the bar instead.
You don't make a good bartender?
I think if you bartended, you would steal my job.
I'm not gonna.
Go ahead and roll a deception check. Go ahead, Val, and roll either insight or perception.
I'm rolling pretty good.
+5 and wait, is this a 16? Yeah, 16 plus 21.
I got a 22.
There's a part of you, there's like an inkling in the back of your brain, but then you're like, Buka wouldn't lie to me.
I just want to live and have a job and be normal, Buka.
So you're introducing us someone instead of Val being a bartender. Does that mean that we can't be patrons at this bar?
No, I can serve you guys.
Great.
I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want one beer. You want 2 beers.
No. I want
No?
to serve
3?
the beer. I want to serve the beer.
And this friend of your he hangs out at the bar a lot?
Yeah,
He sounds great.
he's a good guy.
What? Who is this? Who is this?
But
Oh,
Buka's friend
it's-
that he's introducing us to that hangs out at the bar.
It's better if I told you when we get there or when we get closer.
Okay. I think is perfect. Again, I also, if at any point you feel like it gets too dangerous, I want you guys all to get out of that situation. Sometime tonight, then I'll have Helena. She's the one that has all this information. So she's the one that's discovered all this information. So sometime tonight, I would say probably I'll have all of us meet up, and then we can kind of game plan, and then you guys can leave. Because what time does your shift start?
Normally not till 1:30 a.m.
Okay. Incredibly early. Okay. So if anything, then
late.
Or late. So let's try to meet up tonight. Maybe you guys can get a few hours of sleep, and then you guys can head out maybe at like midnight to get there on time.
Amazing.
Okay. So then let's reconvene. Maybe let's reconvene at 6 for dinner.
Perfect.
Okay. And then you see at that point just like full, like almost like transformation of her face, and just says, "Very well. We will reconvene this evening." And then she like clicks like of her feet, and then turns around and then sits back to the throne room. And then even before you guys are done standing up, like guards have already started like pulling the chairs away. And then you guys are seen out.
I know you didn't want to do it in the throne room, but do you want to share with us a little bit about this friend of yours that you're introducing us to?
Oh, yeah. I think we should talk about the fountain, though. We sit down at the fountain. So, okay, so I have a friend.
Mm-hmm.
He hangs out at the bar. His name is not important right now. What you need to remember now, in this moment, is that there is a code. There has to be a way for the gang to know that when you're bringing people in, to basically tighten up and talk about literally anything else except official business. You know what I mean? Like there's a signal.
Because there's obviously copper, silver, and gold coins. Anytime, but kind of like the code that you guys have, like there's like important news, you guys bring out like a copper coin, and
Mhm.
then almost heads would be like it's safe to talk, or it's like
Mhm.
like it's important, but it's not. There's a
Mhm.
danger.
Yeah.
Or like if you do tails, it's like you're being followed.
Perfect. So it's like tails is don't share anything
Yeah.
sensitive. Cool. Okay. The most important thing to know about my friend is that when we go to talk to him, you don't ask him the questions. Not in the beginning. Okay? He's going to get to know you. He's going to feel you out, and you have to earn his trust. And once you do that, you're in. Okay? Does that sound good?
You told us nothing about this person.
He is so cool, and he hangs out at the bar.
I feel like the fact that this guy lives by a code, Pierce 100% just understands. Pierce just nods the whole time in complete understanding. The first time he's completely understood any situation over the last
Like 2 days. Yeah. You guys are able to be by the fountain, but it's still kind of early in the day. Do you guys head back to Pierce's house?
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
so.
You guys walk back to the second tier, and you're walking past guards. You walk in again, the door fully unlocked, and as you guys walk in, there is no smell of food, but you do see your mom has started cleaning up after like all like obviously like the beds and stuff. So the couches have been pushed back into their place. And as she looks at you and just says, "Pierce, how did your interview go?"
I think it really well, honestly. Just have to, they said by the end of the day. So I don't even have to wait that long to find out.
Okay, that's wonderful. It's already it's already in the afternoon. Okay, okay, I probably should wait, but I've been trying to find the right time. You've been gone for a while. Last time you were here was not for great stuff, but hold on one second. And you see that she goes to the room and she ends up you hear scrambling in there as like stuff is being moved, but after like a minute or so she comes back with this long, very simple light wood, like a pine wood box. She's kind of like holding it with both hands, and then finally brings it out and just says, "There's never been really like a good time in the last few years to do this, and I wanted there to be a special occasion, but here's a gift for you for hopefully becoming a lantern." And she like slides it towards you.
You can tell that Pierce doesn't really know what it is. He's not really what to expect, but he knows enough to know that it has something to do with his dad, something that belonged to him. So he reaches out for it and pulls it close enough to the end of the edge of the coffee table that he's on, so that he can open it.
Cool. There's 2 latches on each end. Opens up. On the actual, it's like a red felt inside, but is a very like simple but mildly decorated sword. Dark leather wrap around the actual like hilt itself. The crossguard is kind of like a tarnished bronze, like it's very like old and patinaed at this point. And the actual blade, very simple, but you see in front of you this like long sword. You pull it out and you notice close to the crossguard at the bottom part of the blade, you notice an inscription, and you go to read it as you're holding the sword, and it's in a language that you don't know. But you notice these runes that go along. Maybe they go up maybe like 3 or 4 inches into the actual like blade itself. But you do recognize this as your father's sword. I didn't know when a good time would this, for this would be, but now that you've been back home and you're going to be taking over your father's position in the lanterns, it just seemed like a really good occasion. And so I just wanted to give this as an early gift, I think, for your promotion.
Pierce would like smirk in like as he's like holding the sword, and he had pulled it slightly out of the sheath so he can like see the sword and enough to recognize that it was his dad's, and he like pushes it back into the sheath, and you can tell that like the smirk goes away, but he's like in a good mood but like struggling to know how to feel. Last time he was home, obviously his mom had mentioned we're not for good reasons or good terms, so this is kind of like a lot for him. And he, after putting it back into the sheath, he like slowly places it very carefully back into this like case and closes it and just looks at his mom. And I think when you decided to give it to me was the right time, which was now. I think I would love to carry this after I find out about what my future might look like later today.
Well, at least, I mean, put it on at least. I mean, I don't want to wait.
Put it on. Put it on.
Put
I guess he like he thinks about it. He stands up because he's in his blues still,
Yeah.
like he's in his dress, and so he hadn't like latched it yet. So he opens it back up and like puts it. He like would I have had my other sword in my blues? Yeah. Okay. So I slowly take that one off and sit it on the table, and then pull the other one off and like fasten it onto my uniform.
Yeah, the sheath itself, or the scabbard, because it'd be like hardwood, but it's like a hardwood and leather. And again, like the sword itself, pretty similar to your ornamental one that you have, or your ceremonial one. But the blade is like a steel itself is a dark steel. You could tell it's well made, but just simple. Beyond kind of like the bronze crossguard and beyond like those runes that you haven't been able to read, there's not really anything else. It's like a very simple sword, perfectly balanced. Like it just feels good in your hands.
I think as I'll like reach out on the blade, feel my thumb across the like sharp edge, and like hold it straight out in front of me for a second, and then just slowly put it back in the sheath and pause for a second, and then just, I mean, if you and I'm sure Dad would have wanted me to have this, then I should carry it regardless of what happens.
Tears coming down her face. She's like, I love it. Yeah, I think this is right. And then as she starts talking, she's still talking, but you guys don't hear her voice anymore. As all three of you suddenly hear one after the other, you guys hear Weaver's voice in your guys' mind go, you guys might want to get to the tower right now. I'm so sorry. Come to the tower now. And then,
what?
I'm assuming we all kind of look at each other.
Yeah.
and I just can't wait for you to like have that sword and, just make your father proud.
I'm walking by. I walk by Pierce, like behind him, and like hit him on the shoulder, and be like, congratulations. As I'm walking towards the door.
We need to go. I'm so sorry to interrupt this momentous occasion.
Everything okay?
It will be.
Yeah, it should be fine. We just, with everything that happened, we were asked to stay close and available to the tower. So we just
Okay.
need to head back in.
And
Okay,
closer and more available we're going to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I love you. Yeah, we'll talk soon. Okay. And then as you guys leave, you guys start heading up to the third tier, and you guys are in kind of like that small courtyard area where the fight had happened before at the base of the tower. Construction's kind of done for the day as it's gone to like the hot part of the day, but you still see again like ladders and stuff like that. The part of like the actual one of the first things that they started reconstruction on was the actual like where the ceremony had happened, and like the platform that's like on like the middle part of the tower itself. And you see that all of the lanterns are gathered there. And then there's like a small crowd that has started to form. And you could tell, like, as you guys look, no roles necessary. There's a lot of confused looks as people have been kind of like asked to join. And so it's like a combination of some of the workers as well as members of not the crown royalty itself, but staff of the royalty, as well as just like servants. Some construction workers are still there as they're all been kind of brought into this impromptu ceremony, it seems like. And you see that Helena is at the front and she says, thank you all for being here. Sorry, this is kind of sudden, but we have some news and we just want to share it with everybody. We figured, why wait? We want to introduce the newest lantern to join our cause, Gilmore. As a man dressed fully in black, black leather, black cloak comes in, a smiling, beaming smile as he walks up. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
What the
Who the fuck?
That's so rude.